Welcome to Storytimer. Stephen Timothy Judy. Serial killer Stephen Timothy Judy grew up in an extremely violent household and was an aggressive child. His parents were alcoholics who fought constantly. At 10 years old, Stephen would push high school girls down and try to molest them. He had been in and out of trouble with the law since he was 12. What was his crime at 12 years old? In 1968, Stephen Judy pretended to be a Boy Scout and conned his way into a woman's home. He was found guilty of beating and raping her and then bludgeoning her with a hatchet, causing skull fractures. As he was swinging the hatchet, she was trying to protect her head. This resulted in Stephen Judy cutting off her finger. The attack was only labeled aggravated battery by prosecutors. They didn't consider this anything more than aggravated battery. Remember, rape was not considered a violent crime by the all-male lawmakers then. Stephen Judy was sentenced to 6 months in a juvenile detention center and then transferred to a mental hospital. He was diagnosed as a sexual psychopath. Stephen Timothy Judy would later claim that the hospital granted the patients day passes. In 1972, he was released to a foster family. The state told his foster family nothing about his violent background. He got along well with the foster family, however. He attended high school for a time until he was expelled for cutting a young woman's halter top off. That would bring criminal charges today, but in the 1970s, it was just considered bad behavior. He worked construction jobs then and drove a utility-style truck with toolboxes along the sides of the bed. In April of 1979, he abducted Terry Lee Chastain and her 3 children. He saw her driving on 465 in Indianapolis and motioned for her to pull over. Thinking that something was wrong with her car, she did. He forced her and her children to get into his truck. He drove south to Mooresville and raped and strangled Terry Lee and drowned her 3 young children. When he was arrested for the Chastain murders, investigators saw similarities to Ann Harmeyer's September 1977 case. The true crimes were similar. Both were taken from the side of the road. Both were raped and strangled. The killer simply discarded them and did not take the time or effort to hide or bury the bodies. Both were left in Morgan County. Upon checking, though, Stephen Judy was supposed to be incarcerated on the day of Ann Harmeyer's abduction. At his trial for the 4 Chastain murders, Stephen Judy pled guilty and threatened the jury. He said that he wanted the death penalty. He got what he wanted. On March 9, 1981, Stephen Judy died in the electric chair at Michigan City, Indiana. He was 24 years old. But are there other victims? Does someone commit a violent rape and attempted murder in 1968 and another in 1979, but nothing in between? He was free from 1972 to 1979. He met with his foster family in the last days of his life. He confessed to his foster mother to many armed robberies, rapes, and murders. He had lived in New Orleans, Louisiana for a time in 1973 and claimed to have killed 2 women there, but did not name them. He confessed to the kidnapping and rape of another Louisiana woman and claimed to have thrown her in a swamp. He did not know if she survived. He confessed to kidnapping and raping several Indianapolis women, including Linda Unverzacht in 1978. He also said he kidnapped and raped another woman and left her tied to a tree in the woods. He never knew whether she lived or died. He said he left a string of victims behind him. Investigators might have followed up on these leads, but no other crimes are officially connected to Stephen Timothy Judy. But there are so many unsolved murders, and DNA technology has advanced greatly. One wonders if any law enforcement agency has a sample of Stephen Timothy Judy's DNA. Evidence from crimes decades ago may not still exist, but if it is, it's interesting to ponder. Crimes that were considered unsolvable just a few years ago are being solved every day now.